Welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is the Peter Meter live stream launching extravaganza. What are we in? Week 5 of our launch. We have one more after this. And today we're going to be talking about STEAM. And we have esteemed guests to help us with this. So I'm Tricia Fuglestad. I'm the author, illustrator, and animator of Peter Meter. And I also teach art and I integrate technology. So I'll be talking about the art and the technology pieces of STEAM. And we also have Erica. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm back again with my girl, Tricia. I am Erica Sandstrom. I'm known as Green Screen Gal. I teach digital media, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and I'm a digital learning coach. But my part of STEAM is I help educators create STEAM videos and using the green screen to make things come to life, where they build their projects and then they get inside them and they fly them. But today I'm going to be talking about some fun stuff I did with Peter Meter. So excited. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. And Heidi, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Heidi Samuelson. I am a math and science 3rd grade teacher in West Tennessee. And I look for different ways to incorporate all of the things into my lessons.
Great. I'm so glad you could be here. I see Heather. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Heather Brown. I'm from rural Illinois. I used to be a 3rd grade teacher, but now I'm a K-5 math interventionist and STEAM teacher for kindergarten all the way up through 8th grade this year.
Awesome.
So I'll be focusing on math.
That's right. Thank you. And Katie.
I'm Katie Nasser. I'm from Massachusetts, outside of Boston, and I am a K-6 elementary art teacher, and I also teach a class I call Artivation, which is all about integrating STEAM into the art making process. And today I'm going to talk about engineering and art.
Awesome. So we have Boston area overrepresented here, it looks like.
Yes. I live in Beverly. Where do you live?
Oh, Melrose.
Nice. We are really close.
I teach in Middleton.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Literally a stone's throw. That's fantastic. I teach in Peabody. Right next door.
Awesome. So really cool connections. And we'll be making more cool connections as we talk about STEAM. Oh, lovely transition, isn't it? So we're going to be going through science, technology, engineering, art, and math that could be found in the Peter Meter story and the activity packet. If you joined us on YouTube or LinkedIn, say hi, say where you're from. We're really excited that you're here with us. And also stick around because there's going to be an opportunity to win a book by just replying in the chat. It's a really simple one. So we're going to get started on sharing about how to integrate Peter Meter in your classroom and use it to talk about STEAM. So we're going to start with Heidi sharing about the science aspects. Let me get this going.
So one of the science standards for 3rd grade is talking about circuits and simple circuits. And so I thought the activity that was in the pre-order pack for simple circuits was perfect for this. I have a little video to kind of show you how I might change it around for 3rd graders so that we're not using that copper tape, but that we're using aluminum foil. I think it might be a lot easier.
Here's the Anita tune-up circuit from the bonus pack. And I wanted to see if I could use something other than the copper tape. So I got some aluminum foil and I followed the pattern with the aluminum foil and then put the battery in place and fingers crossed. See if I can get the light to come up. Not easy to do with one hand. Let's see, there we go. All right, fingers crossed. Let's see, batteries in place. Yay, it works with aluminum foil, which I think is going to be easier for my third graders to work with rather than the copper tape, which seemed to kind of peel apart and get stuck really easily when I was doing it. Also helps to have a battery that's
So I thought using it with my third graders, I'm also a huge fan of Seesaw. So on the next slide, you'll see that there is a Seesaw activity that I created for students to use as we're doing the circuit. And this is a bit.ly link that'll take you to the teacher portion. So you can add it to your own Seesaw. And if you go to the next slide, you'll kind of see they have a frame where they can take a picture of their circuit and then label it with those rich vocabulary words like positive and negative and the battery and the switch. And then on the next slide of the Seesaw, they'll add a little video to show what happens when they close the circuit and what happens when they open the circuit. And then on the next slide, they'll have like a little formative assessment just to check their learning and make sure that they understand what's the difference between an open and a closed circuit. And then on the last slide, they'll be able to kind of talk about what was hard working with their partner and what was the easiest about working with their partner and what they might do to change their circuit. I thought it would be really cool to like look in the book and see who their favorite character is and maybe make a new circuit with something lighting up on that character.
Oh, you just made my heart so happy. This was so exciting. So not only are you figuring out a hack with the tinfoil, which is brilliant because it's so much cheaper to do it with tinfoil and a glue stick than buying the copper tape, but also they are documenting, they're getting an assessment, and at the end when they're talking about working with their partner, that's building some social emotional skills and trying to maybe working out conflict a little bit or trying to prevent conflict in the future. So it's a really wonderful lesson. And right there is that bit.ly, this capital Peter Seesaw, and that's going to do what?
So that will take anybody that goes to that bit.ly will take you to the Seesaw link for this activity. Then you can add it into your own Seesaw library. And if it doesn't work, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm at Swamp Frog first on social media, and I'll be happy to help you get that set up.
So thank you so much, Heidi. And so I don't know if it was really clear to people that there is an activity packet that goes with Peter on Meter. And that activity packet is actually not just for the bonus pre-order. It is on the Teacher Goals website right now. You can just click and download the whole thing. So anybody can get that 50+ page activity packet and start doing that simple circuit lesson today. If you have a battery that works, right? All right. So next we're going to be talking about the technology part of this book and the connections. So for a while when I was introducing lessons with my students, I would augment the cover of a book if the book connected to what we were learning. And that's kind of like the seed that started for Peter on Meter. For me, if I had an exciting book cover that came to life with augmented reality, it really hooked the students and made them feel like the story was very special. So it was important to me when I was designing the augmented reality for this story to make an interesting book cover. But then I kind of just went crazy and decided to try to animate as much of it as possible and connect it to augmented reality. So this book, you can go on a treasure hunt, basically, and see over 40 instances of augmented reality in the book and the activity packet. Now, those are two-dimensional animations coming to life. But there's a three-dimensional component to this also. Quiver Vision designed a coloring page based on Peter, the main character from the book. And so Peter comes to life as a 3D model, and later we're going to see it happen in Erica's video. And you can interact with it. You can click on its different emotions, and it changes its expression, and music plays. And you could also read about what is the that button doing in Peter's motor and body. So that part is some of the technology, but there's more, because there are technology lessons that you can connect to Peter and Meter, and there's one that is called the Robots with Animated Glow. It's a mini course that I designed. The mini course was free with the pre-orders, but now it's sitting on the Teacher Goals website, and you can sign up for it. And it takes you step by step through how to make an emotional robot that has an animated glow, is what we were calling it. So it's a transdigital lesson where you draw on paper and you animate on the iPad. Put the two together to represent that your feelings are okay to show. It can glow through the paper. It's okay to share your feelings. And your feelings are represented through a symbol. So you're talking about drawing a robot, you're talking about symbols, you're talking about animation, and then you use your voice to tell us, as you're recording it, how your robot is feeling. So then you use your vocabulary about emotions. And the very last thing I wanted to share is that there are 3 other technology robot-related lessons that I created, that in the activity packet, it leads right to them. And here's a little teaser for what they are and how you can do these with your students. And if you were to explore those, you would see that they're fully played out for you lesson plans with all the steps necessary. So you can do a stop motion animation robot out of cardboard, and you can make a drawn animation that comes to life with augmented reality.
My students love your stop motion out of cardboard and all of that. We've had a blast with that. So thank you for sharing that, Tricia.
Oh, absolutely. That's exciting.
Yeah, we love it.
Let's move on to Katie.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the art and engineering integration. I have 2 fun ways that you can connect with Peter O'Meter and bring art and engineering together in your classroom. But the one thing, I mean, I think we all know like the benefits of bringing STEAM into your classroom, but one of the things that I really like about bringing engineering challenges in with my students is that you hook in those kids that maybe arts, like your traditional visual arts, is not their favorite thing, but they love building and designing and getting their hands into 3D structures. And I think that's why engineering is so important to introduce at a young age. So I have 2 things to share here. The first one is right out of the packet. I believe, I'm looking, it's really tiny. I believe it's page 46, right, Tricia? Maybe?
Yes.
And it is about designing an accessible space for your robots. So a way that robots can move around because they're on wheels. So how can they access and move around, and designing a playground for them or a space for them. On paper, you can tie in simple machines, which is definitely a component of mechanical engineering, thinking about those ramps, pulleys, things like that that can help something on wheels. In this case, it's Peter and his friends and the robot be more accessible and move in their space. But I think that's also a connection. It has a definite social emotional connection, because they can start to think about building empathy for others who maybe are they're mobile through wheels, on a wheelchair or whatnot, so that need those accessible options as well. So I think they can start to take Peter and his friends and connect that to maybe people that they see in their world too. You can take that idea and then make it three-dimensional. So thinking about that playground more, you can have students design a 3D structure of Peter's playground at his Tinkerton school. And I'm just looking at the picture from the book that we have popped up here, but there's so many simple machines that are in this image. There's the screw for the slide there. I mean, a playground has a seesaw, that's a lever, might have a ramp that you see. So here's some pulleys. So many different things, simple machine components and mechanisms that fit right into those engineering challenges and use those engineering skills. There's many lessons that you can see online about building construction paper playgrounds or playgrounds out of other kinds of paper and cardboard. And I think this is a great way for them to take Peter's world and make it a 3D world and build in those design and engineering skills.
That's awesome. I love it. I'm going to go back and I'm going to play the recess video so you can see how recess looked in Tinkertron School. Okay. So thanks so much, Katie. I love those ideas, and having the kids construct this out of paper I've seen examples of that before, paper construction playgrounds, but with keeping in mind that robots, that role, that's the way I was thinking about it when I was making the book. I'm like, hold it, some of these robots are on wheels. I don't want some robots to be able to access the playground, but others not. And so I wanted it to have a universal design. And so you'll see through the illustrations, there's like an elevator to get into the classroom. The tables are far apart so you can get in between, and everything has a ramp. So
I think they could even connect that to their own schools, like looking at the things in Peter's world and what do we have in our own school that is accessible for everybody, or the similar mechanisms or concepts like the elevator or the ramps.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you. Well, we're back on A now for art. And so there is, let's see, in the activity packet, there's a link to the integrated circuit painting lesson. This kind of ties back to what Heidi was talking about. There's that template in the activity packet where you can just practice that circuit and make it work right off of that piece of paper. But if you want to go deeper with your students and integrate your circuit, I have a very detailed lesson on how to do that and how I've done it with my students. And it was extremely successful and exciting piece of art. Then just drawing the robot is an art lesson in itself. And last week we did a draw along, and you can go back in YouTube on Teacher Goes and find it there. And you can see how I broke down how to draw the robot, thinking about shapes, thinking about 2D shapes and 3D form. And mostly, I use vocabulary such as, that these are rectangles and ovals and circles, etc. But very simple and accessible way for kids to jump in and start applying what they know about art and shapes. And then in the activity packet, there are a whole bunch of coloring sheets. Every robot has a coloring sheet attached to it so they could color. There's also augmented reality art experiences, including the color wheel that comes to life and shows you what colors go where and connect it to emotions with augmented reality. And then there's a roll and draw robot game. We played that during week 1 of this launch extravaganza. And you roll the die, and that's the eyes that you're going to use on your robot, the head shape you're going to use on your robot, and until you've made all the parts and you've made a really cute robot. So all those things are built in to the activity packet, and I just want to give you a little hint of something that's in the works. The book has potentially a poster that could go with it. And this poster could go on display in your classroom and let your students have a chance to check in and think about their feelings, their emotions for the day. I'm going to click play and let you see what happens. But also, this could also be your color poster. It talks about primary colors and secondary colors. And I was just writing down some words here that you could use and introduce to your students because of the book. As a state standard or a national standard in art education is about showing emotion through your art. And so there's definitely a lot of emotion going on in this book, and there's a connection to facial expression and color and symbol. And then there is a art movement called retrofuturism that this book is designed after. I'll think Lost in Space, think the Jetsons. Those were partially my inspiration for some of the art that you'll find in here. And let's see, I'm going to hit play and give you a chance to see what this poster might be like if you saw it come to life with augmented reality. Let's hold it. Sorry, trying to move forward. Okay, we're on to math now.
Hello. And of course, my little guy had to jump in right when I was ready to talk, huh? Can you say hi to everyone? No.
Hi, everyone.
So you're goofy. As a math teacher, I immediately, when I saw all these fun animations and everything, I immediately saw all the shapes. So obviously that's going to be a big part of this. But in Tricia's packet, she has time with time to recharge. And you can see the worksheet. I cannot even try to read that page number. But it takes the robots an hour to charge, and then they can last for 3 hours. And so it wants to know what time they should be recharging, so that way they're not late to school and things like that. And as the students get older, realistically, you can adapt this and maybe say that the electricity went out. And so instead of getting 1 hour of charge, they got a half hour of charge. So now they can only last an hour and a half, and come up with all these problems that could arise that the students have to solve and use those critical thinking skills and make it more difficult for those kids at the same time. But going back to my shapes. So when I taught third grade, I always made quadrilateral robots because quadrilaterals were a huge standard for us. And so you can see my little quadrilateral robot that I made quickly. Notice that other than the face, that all the shapes that were created or were used to create this robot are all quadrilaterals. So there's two ways that you could approach this. You could have students just use whatever quadrilaterals they want, and at the end write down what quadrilaterals they used. Or you could say you need to use at least 3 trapezoids and 2 squares, and give them more parameters to make with their robots. And as I was sitting here thinking about this, I thought, you know what would be fun too would be to make these into 3D robots. And instead of a square, make them use a cube and actually have 3D robots standing up. So to me, this book is just full of endless possibilities. Because like I said, just sitting here, I keep thinking of more and more and more. And I'm so excited that I get to teach STEAM because I get to use all this stuff this year. And then another idea I had, again, I was third grade, so I introduced fractions, and that was a huge part of it. But you could look through the book and figure out what fraction of robots have at least 3 buttons. And then they have to do the fractions. Or you could do it the other way too, where you could say, okay, you need to find a fraction with these robots that will be 1/4. And then they have to use their creativity to find some pattern that would equal 1/4. Like maybe 1/4 of these robots have 3 eyes. I don't think any of them actually have 3 eyes, but that's just an example off the top of my head. But you get the idea. So with the math, there's so much you could do. You could even have, like, if you have the little spherical robots or whatever, you could tie it to this and have them race. And then you're talking about timing. And then you could put it on a plot line to show which ones go faster and which ones go slower. And the possibilities are just endless with this book. I really am excited to use it this next year.
I just love the way your mind works. That's so out of the box. Some of those ideas that you just had.
Well,
I love
thank you.
it.
That's our Heather. She's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm like all excited about making 3D ones. So I'm trying to think of all the things I can get to help make me make these 3D robots.
Even just the challenge of drawing something to look like it's 3D is a really big deal, like for third graders too.
Oh, yes.
And how to make a cube, etc. But one thing I wanted to point out about this time to recharge is that there is a connection there for, what is it called? Executive functioning and taking care of yourself so that you don't run out of energy also. I just thought there's so many different ways you could approach it. The math way, I turned it into a math problem, but I was also thinking about, like, if robots run out of energy at a certain time and they need to stop and take care of their needs, and if you spot that for someone else, like a different robot got excluded from whatever activity you're in because their timing was different than yours. So there's all these opportunities for building empathy and even yourself, like pacing yourself so that you're going to make it through the day and not miss any good opportunities, which I'm sure a lot of children can understand, kids that are on different, experiencing different health concerns or challenges, how they have to navigate the world and how they have to be responsible for making sure that they get their medicine, etc. So I was trying to make connections so that this story could reach kids no matter what they're experiencing. So that I touched on social emotional learning, and I think that leads to something that Erica was going to share with us. So Erica, do you want to pull up what you were going to share?
Absolutely. Did you want me to start the new ticker, or we're going to wait for that?
Oh, let's do that. Yes. Okay. So while Erica's putting her thoughts together on social emotional learning connections, I want to remind everybody that is here with us that there is an opportunity to win a book. So now that you've heard us talk about STEAM, and we'll be hearing more about social emotional learning, we would love to hear if you have any ideas for how you would like to use this book, Peterometer, with your students in your learning space. So in the chat, just share an idea, and that becomes your entry to win a book. We're going to keep on collecting the ideas in the chat and pick a winner on Sunday morning. Okay, so share away, and every idea is another entry. So just keep on loading up the chat with ideas. All right, Erica.
Before I talk, Claire here asked what grade levels this is geared towards. Geared. Sorry.
Geared, right. I would love to have this officially leveled and find out, but I do know that I have a second grader in my mind when I'm writing it. But I can see little people learning from it. I see older kids being able to pull out lessons from it and enjoying it too. So I'm kindergarten through 5th grade. I would have read this to every single grade level.
Well,
Any
let me
other
tell you,
ideas?
I teach middle school, and it's coming out for them, because anything about flipping your lid, I teach that every day, and it's perfect for middle school. And there's so many science and engineering and math ideas here too. I mean, we still do fractions, we do it all up in the middle school. So I don't think this has. I think it's everybody, and especially even adults with emotions. Speaking of social emotional learning, and with social emotional learning, Gloria started us off with an awesome idea. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Look at this. Thanks to Peter Rameter, identifying our emotions with a morning check-in with a breeze. Just use a QR code with your characters. Isn't that cool?
Yes.
That's a great idea. I love it. So what I'm going to share is I teach digital media, so I have all kinds of STEAM going on, but I'm known for my green screen and animation and all that. But what I had fun doing is I and Heather here, Heather Brown, were on the Teach Your Heart Out cruise with Teacher Goals. And we got to touch the book and play with it. I can't even tell you the emotion. You'll see it in the video, but the emotions behind meeting Peter. It is a out of this world experience to see this book and to feel him come alive. And also in my little video I'm going to share here, I did use the DoInk app, which is Tricia and I's favorite green screen app on the planet, and to make Peter come on the cruise with us. So there's a little bit of him on there. So I incorporated it with green screen, and we could talk about it afterwards and show you. So this is a fun video that I made. Okay, it's small. Tricia, is there a way to make that bigger?
No.
Okay, that's all right. Everybody smile.
Oh, look at him. Oh, I love it. And the different changes his emotions. Oh, that's so adorable.
Oh, I love that song too. This is me. I'm no apologies. And that was for you, Tricia. Just to
That was awesome.
celebrate
it.
this beautiful journey and all of the kids across the world, not even just kids, adults that will have a chance to have a lot of healing just from your book. You really have made a huge movement here, and I'm so proud of you. I've known you a long time, but I'm just clearly beaming. But with social emotional learning, I think she's covered a lot of it too, just in these weeks. If you go back and watch the replays, this book is obviously not just about social emotional learning, but it is certainly tying it in with STEAM around the board. And I feel like it's a very powerful conversation with flipping your lid. And you know, I could go on forever, but anyway, so I hope that all your dreams have come true with what you want it to do for kids across the world. So blah,
Thank
blah.
you.
Sorry.
No, thank
I'm very
you.
emotional. I love Peter. I got to meet him. I got to touch the book. Heather too. Heather, unmute. Tell him what it felt like. It was like, oh my god.
It was so awesome. You could tell by our facial expressions. It was so exciting. We're like, oh, we get a sneak peek.
Yeah.
We were very excited. And then to play with the augmented reality in it too is just amazing.
Yes.
Too. Oh, that's great.
Well, Heidi, do you want to share anything? I saw you just flash the book over there.
No, I'm just excited. Like I can't wait to show the kids how the author will pop up in all the different. I mean, it's going to be year round. Like it. I was thinking the QR code with socio-emotional check-in. I think I might add a seesaw activity in with Peter and have them check in with the seesaw activity too. So
Yes. So I think like I showed you the poster idea. So the poster idea isn't in print yet, but that's my dream, is that we'd get that poster to go along with the book, and then the kids could just take their iPad over to the poster and then get a feeling for what they are connecting with that day. But then at any time, we could be using the QR code in that coloring sheet and pull up a 3D model of Peter and click through the emotions and think about what that means. There's connections for like when you express an emotion as a robot, it's has similar language to what happens to your body, like the flip your lid you're talking about, but that's an idiom, but it fits for a robot to flip its lid. What does that mean for a human to flip their lid? And those are good conversations to have too. I see some ideas in the comments. Every idea, don't forget, that's an entry to the book giveaway. So let's
Watch
see.
the replay well, I can't tell people
Yeah.
right here.
Right. If you're here, this is your moment. You get to be on screen with your ideas.
Did you see what Rachel just wrote? Look at this. She's going to use Peter as a mascot for her room.
Oh, I love it.
I know. I can feel your heart exploding, Tricia. That's great. I'm going to use it for all grade levels. Maybe just seeing what happens with Quiver will make them want to create all their own. And that's another thing I meant to mention is I took Peter out of the book by filming him with Elena Weinstein. It was her idea too. We were, and Heather was there. We were filming him in 3D. And then I took that and I removed the background. You can do that in Canva and Adobe now, the video background. And then I put green behind it. And then I brought it into DoWink and did the magic of the animating him where he's like, how did I get on this ship? That speech bubble is from DoWink and the typing. And then I animated him in DoWink to run away on the ship because he didn't know why he was there. So
he always looks so stressed out, doesn't he?
I know, he does always look stressed out, but the AR, like Rachel said here, kids will make their own characters and make them come to life for a million reasons. So very exciting.
That is exciting. So next week, thank you for sharing, Rachel. So next week, we're going to get a sneak peek of the read aloud. And that'll be, well, right now, the book is available for purchase. It's at Barnes & Noble. We saw that it was on Target. It was at Target. And it was at Walmart. And pretty soon, it'll be on Amazon. So all those pre-orders on Amazon, we're hoping they'll be shipping this week. Some people got theirs already. Heidi, did you get yours because it was Barnes & Noble? Or
Yes.
Yeah. So Barnes & Noble shipped already, but
I ordered from Amazon and it shipped. I don't remember if it was today or yesterday, but I did get a notification.
Yay! Yeah, mine says Friday. So of course, you buy your
My
own.
Amazon says I'm delayed. I hope it's going to come soon.
Yeah. So we got tripped up on something on Amazon, but it's available in other places, and soon all the Amazon orders will be coming through, and we're so excited. So please, if the book shows up, share online, show me. I would love to see it. I know that Heidi made a really cute video, and some other friends have been making videos, and of course Erica's video, and I just love it. It just means so much to me because this is a dream come true. And actually, I've been saying it's like my dream it has become reality, has become augmented reality. That's my phrase. So my dream has become augmented reality. Alrighty, so we're going to be wrapping it up here. Thanks so much. Don't forget that you can keep on putting your ideas in the chat even when this is over, because the winner for the book will be chosen on Sunday morning. So thanks for joining us. Keep on coming up with those ideas for how you could use Peterometer in your classroom. Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations, Tricia.
Thank you.